If you clicked on this video, you are probably trying to lose weight and feel stuck. So let me ask you, how many diets have you tried in your lifetime? Keto, calories counting, juice cleanliness, Dukan, you name it. And yet the number on the scales keeps going up and up and up. I have been there, and I know how exhausting that can feel. This video isn't about the latest diet trend, it's for people who feel powerless around the food. People who says, I know what I should do, I just can't seem to do it. If that sounds like you, Bright Line Eating book might finally make sense. It's not about willpower, it's about what's happening in your brain and how to work with it, not against it. Hi, I am Alexina and this is a Book Bites Club. In this video, I will share key insights from the book, grounded in neuroscience that can finally help you take control of your eating and your life. Let's dive into it.
Meet the author, Susan Peirce Thompson. Susan Peirce Thompson is a neuroscientist with a PhD in brain and cognitive sciences. She's also a former drug addict who battled food addiction for years. Her personal recovery and academic expertise led her to create Bright Line Eating, a program that's helped hundreds of thousands of people lose weight, restore control, and heal their relationship with food. 1. Are you addicted to food? The Susceptibility Scale. In the book, Susan introduces a quiz called the Susceptibility Scale, a tool to measure how prone you are to food addiction. Some people can eat a cookie and move on. Others spiral into binging. It's not about weakness. It's about brain wiring. If you score high, like Susan herself did, your brain reacts to sugar and flour the same way a drug addict's brain reacts to cocaine. If that's you, traditional diets won't work. You don't need another meal plan. You need a system built for your brain. If you're curious where you fall on the scale, Susan includes a quiz in the book, and we've linked it for you in the comments below. It only takes a minute and can be surprisingly eye-opening. 2. The real problem isn't food. It's your brain. Susan explains that the reason most diets fail has nothing to do with how smart, motivated, or self-disciplined you are. The real problem lies in the way your brain is wired, especially when it comes to sugar, flour, and highly processed foods. She explains this through neuroscience. 2 key brain systems are involved. 1. The nucleus accumbens, your brain's pleasure center. This is part of the brain's reward system. It lights up when you eat sugar and flour, the same way it lights up in drug addicts when they use cocaine or heroin. And these foods create a dopamine surge, making you feel temporarily great. But over time, the brain becomes desensitized, meaning you need more of the food to get the same reward. And this leads to compulsive overeating and cravings, not because you're weak, but because your brain is chasing dopamine. Thompson classifies this as food addiction, real, biological, and measurable. 2. The prefrontal cortex, your brain's control center. This is the rational, decision-making part of your brain. It helps you plan, think ahead, and resist temptations. But it has limited bandwidth, especially when you're tired, stressed, or overwhelmed. And every time you resist a cookie, you're using willpower, which Thompson compares to a battery that runs out as the day goes on. By 10 p.m., your willpower is drained, your reward brain is yelling louder than ever, and your ability to make good choices is gone. So you end up on the couch, halfway through a pizza, wondering how it happened. Susan calls this the willpower gap. We know what to do, but we can't do it consistently. Bright Line Eating closes that gap by removing decision fatigue. 3. What are bright lines? Bright lines are clear, non-negotiable rules around food. No more mental negotiation. No gray areas, because for people prone to food addiction, moderation is exhausting. Every time you ask, should I just have one bite? You're draining your willpower. The problem with moderation. Most diets promote moderation, like just eat a little sugar or watch your portions. But for people with food addiction or strong dopamine responses to sugar and flour, moderation doesn't work. Here's why. Every time you negotiate, should I have just one bite? You drain willpower. And that internal tug-of-war creates stress and decision fatigue. Eventually, the brain gives in, especially when you're tired, emotional, or distracted. Bright lines remove that negotiation. They make decisions once, in advance, so you're not constantly battling cravings in the moment. The 4 bright lines. 1. No sugar. No added sugar. No artificial sweeteners. Not even natural ones like honey, maple syrup, or stevia. Why? Because sweet taste, regardless of the source, triggers the addictive brain loop. Even calorie-free sweeteners can keep the brain craving more. 2. Or no flour of any kind. Not just white wheat flour, but almond flour, oat flour, even gluten-free options. Thompson explains that flour acts like powdered carbohydrates. It digests rapidly, spikes blood sugar, and lights up the brain's reward center just like sugar does.
She says, flour is sugar with a different name.
3 meals a day. No snacking. No grazing. Just 3 meals, eaten at regular times. Why? Because frequent eating keeps insulin high and your hunger hormones out of balance. Also, every snack reopens the door to cravings and mindless eating. Spacing meals gives your brain structure and restores your body's natural hunger cues. 4. Measured quantities. Food isn't just eliminated. It's measured with a digital food scale. This may sound extreme, but it serves 2 powerful purposes. It removes uncertainty, so your brain isn't guessing, was that too much? It builds trust and consistency. Over time, your portions become automatic. No more portion creep. No more overeating healthy foods. 4. Why it works. Bright line. Eating shifts your eating from emotion to automaticity. You stop asking, should I eat this? You already know. And that frees your brain to focus on life, not food. This isn't just a theory. Over 40,000 people have followed the program. Results show more weight loss more quickly. Cravings drop. Mental clarity returns. People keep the weight off for years. This isn't just about losing weight. It's about getting your life back. 5. Simplicity equals freedom. Susan argues that simplicity is the secret to long-term success. Counting macros, tracking points, estimating portions, or allowing occasional cheats may sound more balanced, but they keep you in a constant state of mental negotiation. Every meal becomes a question. Is this too much? Can I have dessert today? Should I skip lunch to make up for breakfast? This mental chatter wears you down. It drains willpower. And eventually it breaks you. Thompson writes that this is the same pattern seen in addicts. She draws a powerful comparison to alcohol recovery. Imagine telling a recovering alcoholic, just have a drink on weekends. Don't overdo it. We wouldn't do that because addiction thrives in ambiguity, and the same applies to food, especially for those with addictive relationships to sugar, flour, or binge eating. Thompson writes, you can't heal an addiction with moderation. You heal it with abstinence, with clear, bright lines. 6. The power of automaticity. The real magic of bright line eating is how it helps you develop automatic behaviors around food. This is the concept of automaticity, a term from neuroscience and psychology that means doing something without needing to think about it. When your food plan is simple and structured, same times, same types of meals, same quantities, your brain stops negotiating. You stop obsessing, you just do it. And that's where freedom begins. Thompson explains that once automaticity kicks in, cravings decrease, stress around food vanishes, and people report a deep sense of peace and control. It's not boring, it's liberating. 7. The emotional side of eating. Weight struggles aren't just about food. Most people who struggle with food, especially those high on the susceptibility scale, aren't just eating because they're hungry. They eat because they're stressed, lonely, anxious, angry, bored, tired, overwhelmed, or craving comfort, love, or control. Thompson calls this emotional eating, and it's deeply rooted in how we've learned to self-soothe since childhood. Sugar and flour don't just taste good, they numb pain. They act like a drug, flooding the brain with dopamine and masking discomfort. These substances flood the system with dopamine, offering temporary relief, like a drug. So when we're sad, stressed, or lonely, we reach for food not to satisfy hunger, but to distract or comfort ourselves. That's why diets fail. They treat the symptom, not the root. Emotional tools from the program Bright Line. Eating includes emotional healing tools too. 1. Daily journaling. Morning pages to clear mental clutter and notice patterns. Clarity on the page brings clarity in life. 2. Gratitude practice. Rewires your focus from shame to joy. 3. Community support. Coaching, groups, and shared stories. Because isolation is one of the biggest triggers for relapse. You don't just heal your habits, you heal your heart. 8. Is Bright Line eating right for you? Susan is honest, this isn't for everyone. It's not for if you prefer intuitive eating with no restrictions, don't like routines or rules, thrive on variety and spontaneity in your meals, or have a history of restrictive eating disorders like anorexia. Then, Bright Line eating may feel too rigid or even counterproductive for your needs. Thompson emphasizes that the program requires a mindset shift. You have to be willing to give up some freedoms in the short term to gain long-term peace. Who it is. 4. Bright line eating is designed for people who have tried every diet and keep regaining the weight, feel obsessed with food, sugar, or eating in secret, struggle with food cravings that feel out of control, constantly negotiate with themselves about what and how much to eat, score high on the susceptibility scale. She provides a quiz in the book and online. In other words, if your relationship with food feels more like a battle than a choice, this program was built for you.
Thompson says, "We are the people for whom nothing else works. And when we find this, it feels like coming home."
Final takeaway. This isn't a weight loss plan. It's a life recovery plan disguised as a food plan. You don't need more willpower. You need a system that makes food decisions automatic. Start with just one bright line this week, and watch what happens. This is Book Bites Club, where we break down life-changing books, one bite at a time. Let me know in the comments. Have you ever tried giving up sugar or flour? What happened? If this helped you, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.